guys, it's Megan and this is Caleb, and today is the day for our garden update. My garden to get to work. It's overgrown, it's been neglected, and honestly it just feels overwhelming. You can see that we've mowed the outside part, but I need to come and weed whack the edges here before it grows into the mulch. That feels overwhelming and a lot of work, but I came up and this is my mass of tomatoes, and honestly I just feel overwhelmed. There's so many that I need to harvest, and there's so much that I need to cut off on the outside. But if I cut off the outside parts, will I stop the new tomatoes from growing? Because I don't know if the tomatoes will grow on the inside parts if I'm cutting off the outside. So I feel a little overwhelmed and not sure where to start, but the tomatoes have so overtaken, it's almost impossible to go anywhere. We have a few okra right here. I need to deal with them too. Some of them, I do love the flowers on these. These are so tall, I can't get past them. I planted some nasturtiums at the beginning of the season, and it took a long time for them to come up. And at first I was kind of disappointed, but they have continued to bloom and continue to bloom, and they are bringing such joy in the garden that they are still flowering, which is so fun and exciting. But I wanted to just kind of do a check-in. I'm going to try to tackle some of this tomato. I have a whole nother section of tomatoes over there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to just brutally cut off a whole bunch of the outside and hope that the inside will keep going more. I mean, I can't even harvest the ones that are ready because they're so far away from the edge. So wish me luck. These are a few other okra plants, but I wanted to show you this one. I had no idea. Look at how big this trunk is down here. It is, I cannot get my hand all the way around it. And the okra, and then this branch has gone into our peppers, so the okra back there are out of control. We haven't been able to get them. It's just crazy. Okra, and then more tomatoes, just a mass. Again, it all feels pretty overwhelming, but we're just gonna do what we can. We're gonna do a little bit. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna harvest little baby okras and the big ones and see what we can do with them. The chickens will get some yummy snacks. And I'm so thankful that my problem is that I have too much. What a blessing that my garden is overwhelming because it's grown so well, and that I'm not disappointed because it didn't grow. Well, it's still a mess, but we were able to weed eat some of the edges. I can actually see most of my butternut squash. And the last time I showed you, all the center foliage had died and a whole bunch of it has grown back. So I'm not sure what made it do that. Maybe just the summer heat. We've had a couple hot weeks. And so maybe with the rain and the cooler temps, it's coming back. But I'm not sure. We have tons of butternut squash and I'm excited for those. We made a little bit of progress on our craziness of tomatoes. We're able to get a path this way between the tomatoes and the sweet potatoes. This side over here, we're able to get a little bit cleared, so we're able to reach inside better and get to some. We still have so many that are overripe on the vine. You can see them through here. Now we actually have a little bit of a path between our okra and our tomatoes, which we did not have before. Again, you can see just all the red. We're trying to pull out the ones that are good and make sure we use them, and trying to pull off some of the bad ones to the chickens. But we've got some work done. So after the tomatoes, now that we can actually walk in here, we have this space used to have cucumbers and they're all wrapped up, and I grew some kale here. There's actually one little kale root left, but I put new potatoes in. And then behind it is this other mass of tomatoes, which we took a big chunk. My boys helped me clear out this section here. So at least we can reach inside. We can get to some of them. Again, trying to get some of those overripe ones out and off the vine. We were able to clear some of the shoots of the tomatoes out away from our bell peppers, which are shooting up. We've got some bell peppers up here and tucked in here as well. And then there's other bell peppers here. You can see our marigold is still trying to come up in here. It's actually come out the front And maybe, just maybe, we'll actually get some flowers on it. All this time it's been growing, but no flowers. We didn't do much with the okra, but we did clear the back fence at least a little bit. The grass is so thick and overgrown. So we have a little bit more space here. It's still a hot mess and we'll need to do more work, but at least we can see what we have. We have more potatoes that look like we'll actually be able to harvest them before it gets cold or anything like that. So I'm really excited that we were able to get so much done. My boys really helped me take care of the tomatoes. And come around here, we actually have an old walnut tree that got cut down right in here. But then what happened is it grew back as shoots, and then I cut a couple of those shoots, and so then it made 10 shoots, and then we got behind. So now I'm gonna have to get actual clippers, not just the weed eater, to take care of that. And poking out here is actually elderberry. This is all elderberry that I planted from a friend, a tiny, tiny little leaves down on the ground, and they overwintered just fine. Caleb, come stand over here and show us how tall that is. He's about 4 foot tall, so we've got at least 5 feet, which is just awesome in one season. Then coming around, I was able to clear some of the edge here. All of these weeds along the edge, there's a fence back there. They were all in bloom and beautiful flowers when we moved in 1 year ago next weekend. And so I let some of the weeds grow up, thinking I would get flowers for my garden to help pollinators, and I don't see any flowers. There's a few that are just about to bloom. They're not nearly as pretty as they were last year. I don't know what happened. So right behind here, you can see our chickens in our coop. And then behind us is the okra and the tomatoes. So there used to be a path right in here, and it is no more. So we'll have to continue clearing tomatoes. We came back and we took care of the okra in the evening. So it's a much more thinned out. We got rid of the big ones. And you can see we've even cleared a little bit of the space between the okra and the tomatoes. And then you can even see some of our bell pepper plants, which were totally covered up by tomatoes. So it'll be interesting to see if they start producing again for us. And we can still come in here and clear more away, but a lot more improvement than we had before. Around the side, you can come back. You can see our sweet potato patch. I'm really excited about all these sweet potatoes. I'm not sure if they're quite ready to harvest. I think we've got a little bit more time. It said yellow leaves, but I've got a few yellow leaves in there, but a lot of them are still growing pretty new. So I'm not gonna take care of those yet. I've got to look into it. We have a small peach tree that grew this year just from a pot. It was less than 2 feet tall, and now it's about 4 foot. And we have another peach tree from a friend. We mulched it with all the tomato cuttings we just took off. So you can see the backside of our garden. You can see there's much more space in here. There's a little bit of a path. My husband is mowing, so hopefully that's not too loud. But we've got a path in here. That's where cucumbers used to be. And we'll probably try to plant some winter crops, but with the tomatoes there, it's so shaded, it doesn't matter. So we were able to clear a whole path here. When we started today, this grass was so overgrown we couldn't get through, and the tomato was so overgrown we didn't have a path. So it's great to have an easier path to get into the garden since all of the other paths have been overgrown. And we're back to the butternut squash. Again, I'm so thankful for our garden. I'm thankful that God has let my mistakes grow, even though I didn't know what I was doing. We've been able to harvest so many tomatoes. We've been able to give away a ton of tomatoes. I'm excited for these sweet potatoes. I have no idea how many will be under there. And the butternut squash to be able to give some away, eat some, and maybe even give some to the animals. So I hope that you enjoyed a look at our garden as we're trying to work to clean it up at least a little bit. I hope that you are willing to give gardening a try, even if it's just one plant in one little planter on your deck or something. We have enjoyed it. We hope you have a great day.